There we go. I'm back. Sorry, my bad. I muted it yesterday when I was trying to film something. Let me know if it's good now, Lizzie. Checking it, checking it. Give me a check if it's good. Cool. All right, good. All right. Yeah. So, like I said, with this 30-minute chart here, you see green line, red line. These are overnight levels. Yesterday's blue line is yesterday's high, right? You can see this confluence here at that 2028, 2030 level. And then overhead, we have that 2068 level. So let's just be mindful of those levels. I do think they will be sort of important moving forward. That's NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is selling off right prior to this open. And we are about to open up here on top of this support from yesterday as well, right? You can see we kind of use this as more of a lower end support. The real upper end was that previous day high, that green line. I'm going to leave the purple there. However, we'll see how it is. We're not open. Gonna let this opening. It's dancing around quite a bit. I want to just check the dome on this. Very interesting. Super fast price action currently. Make sure you have your coffee for the day. So there's that push over the overnight high. Like I said, I don't trust this as just being the overnight high, whip up over and then fail and then be an immediate rollover. I do think that that previous day high is going to play a role today. And this price is very whippy right now. So I want to let it slow down a bit. I'm going to give you my opening range. My opening range is here. That's my opening range there. It's actually a little bit off. There we go. I'm going to get rid of this actually because I don't want to be distracted by another level. This purple is going to be our opening range. I'll watch this previous day high for that kind of whip off action, that 2028 to 2030 level, up into this, light but colored box here as well will be important to me. Gonna watch Delta here, see if we can get some sort of divergence. It'd be nice. Russell's selling off pretty heavily. That's interesting to me. NVIDIA also giving a little bit of a sell off. Gave that initial pop and now it's pushing right back down to that support level below from that overnight post-market and pre-market session, which is basically 123.90, we'll call it. So we'll see what happens with this today. Obviously, this support trend line here going to be bullish on top of it. Right, VWAP is here as well, acting as support. So there's not a lot telling me that this is going to roll over right this second, especially with the way this looks on the 30-minute. Right, we're on this 30-minute uptrend here, and then we just cracked through the high of it, which is yesterday's high, which is obviously like what I said was going to be pretty important. Then we have that 2068 level that's right there as well, which was previous days resistance, and it acted as really, really, really strong resistance. So 2068, so just over this box, 2068, we'll call it horizontal line at 2068. That's where I want to be interested as well. So that was the same as this 19926 level. See, like I mentioned, I wasn't looking to just hammer into this on an opening range or on a failed break of this opening overnight high because it was being created in the market. And I was mentioning yesterday, when it opens on the overnight low in a bullish market conditions, then I have more of an inclination that it's going to rotate back up and clean it up quicker. When it's opening on the highs here, very close to previous day highs within yesterday's range, we need to see if it's going to break out of yesterday's range first before we want to see if it's going to fail and re-accept to the downside, which I'm not convinced right now. It looks pretty bullish right now, if you ask me. So that 2068 level is looming overhead, which should probably play a role in this play as well. The high of that day was 2070.50. So anywhere right into this range, 20. If we wick off 2068, then I'll be interested in seeing if it'll fail. That's the level that I would consider to be bullish or bearish. You know, if this starts to break, act as support, then run up further, that would be interesting. But if it breaks, fails, start to rotate down, then that would be a bearish signal for me. If you are a Top Step user and you want a free reset, they are doing one today. They did one last night with the slow market broadcast that they do. I have the link, but that's done for now. So when they repopulate that link at some point today, I don't know what time they're going to do it. If I'm not on stream, go over to their YouTube, Trader T, Top Step TV live, and they'll have it on there. But they should post it sometime during my stream, and then if they post it, I'll post the link for that in the chat. So you'll have that free reset sent to you tomorrow. I believe they're doing it. NVIDIA back pretty much middle of the overnight range, so pre-market range. There's that 2068 level. So let's watch it, see if we get a sort of a heavy tilt long or a delta divergence. But that's really that nice little move straight up into that 2068 that I was talking about. And like I said, it's not my strategy to... I don't know what that noise was, to be honest with you. I don't have a clue, but I just heard. So hopefully you can still hear me. Delta is still straight up. Right, broke that 68 level and gave a nice strong buying pressure. So there were buyers waiting there, and now they are unloading. It seems so. There's no divergence. Pretty much a straight up shot right now. Over that, maybe 87 up to 21. Maybe up here, 2100. I don't, 8650. 8650 would be the other. So let's see if we get any sort of setup up here. I would like maybe sort of a rising wedge type pattern up here where it kind of starts to tighten up, look like it wants to go higher, give me some higher lows, and then start to fail it. And then it fails below 68. That would be a nice short opportunity. Quick short. I wouldn't expect a full rotation today. I would expect quick shorts. Grab what you can out of the short if you are playing that sort of rotation, either down to the previous day high or VWAP. You've got some decent size filling. Large orders around 70, 72, 71. There's that straight up parabolic type move. If you took the opening range breakout right away, you were able to catch 273 ticks and more because you may not have stopped out yet. Russell is trying to hold the opening range low. S&P is straight up as well. Obviously, you can see now running into its resistance there overhead from yesterday. 2 days ago, I should say. It was 2 days prior that was resistance, but it's still strong resistance. So if it breaks through, then expect this to keep going. If there's a straight up move and you don't catch it right away, don't try and chase this. I would not recommend that. Yes, it could just squeeze all the way on up. But, that's my thought process on this chart here. You can take a look. This was my, if you look at the write-up, I mentioned that if this doesn't get filled, this is the gap from the previous contract that has yet to be filled. Clearly, I wrote it there. This is the previous contract. This is the new contract. Yes, we gapped up into here, but we've pulled back into this level multiple times. So I say if this doesn't get filled, if this doesn't start to accept into here and start to get filled, and we get the rejection, that's a good area for a bounce to rotate back likely to highs, right? So when you come into here early in the week, Monday, double bottom into it, give you a nice push out up above. That breakout there is a good indication that this is going to act as some sort of supply zone to rotate us up back to the highs. And now I would not be surprised in any sort of bullish type move where it starts to look the way it is right now. Starts to break through levels, maybe uses this level as support. So I will be looking for maybe a break, retest, pullback type idea longer term, right? But in the shorter term, maybe one of these pullbacks will give me an opportunity. You see the S&Ps rejecting that high. Maybe we can get this to give me that rising wedge that I was talking about. Maybe a little something right here. And, maybe one more, get tight in that 100, fail it. Delta's not really playing along, so it's not an aggressive seller at the moment. I see this 50 level as a volume node. So if we crack through 70, through 68, right, through the bottom of this, you should be able to rotate down to 50, maybe even 47. That's maybe the bottom end of that. So maybe into this gray box here. Shoot your shot at it if you want. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to wait till this happens here. Russell's still creeping upside. I'm going to use 68. Let's use that as a level there. And then we'll do this. That's your high. Here's your opening range down here. Do we come back, retest that opening range like we did yesterday? Maybe. Maybe we get a bounce here. Another rotation higher with the Russell breaking through the opening range high now. Interesting. Holding below here, but S&P is trying to crack above that 51.75 level again. I'm going to use this as the breakout point. So if this does break up and hold, then I would expect the NQ to do the same. This might be one of those shallow pullback type days where every little bit gets bid up. But I'm going to let it go. If it does fail, I would like it to close down here. I don't want to just take that first little break because I don't want to get wicked in. It's a good break. Delta's not getting aggressive through the bottom there, so I'm not totally convinced. You can see that wick right there. Now if we get back up into that 80 to 90 area, if we come back down again to 68, then I'll probably take the break of that time. But I don't trust it yet because NVIDIA just cracked through 125, came right back down into that support, but it's trying to reaccept back into the pre-market range. So maybe it does reaccept here. There's the crack at the break. Let's see if the Delta looks good. Delta's starting to look good. 4 seconds left in this candle. Should close below here. Russell's cranking. Russell is cranking. I would like it to get back up into here. And then come down and fail 68. Come up to 77, like a higher volume node over there. Russell's ripping up. About to crack through the high of the pre-market. With the Russell doing that, I don't want to jump in front of this to the short side. I don't trust it yet. Also tilts slightly heavier to the downside, which is, I mean, it's just 50-50, but it's still short biased. So I think that this still could go up. What's up, Douglas? I love when you lurk. I love the lurkers. NVIDIA just cracked back above the 125-ish level. I don't have it as a perfect level. I have it as a more of a zone. Could need to get up over 125.50 as more of a clear-cut break above the pre-market levels to start to get your bid. And this is why I don't trust that as a failed breakdown, right? This is a really good example of why we held ourselves out of this market on the short side based on the market conditions, using all of our confluences to our advantage to be able to kind of keep ourselves out of a short in a setup that is normally kind of pretty good. Just with this bullish market conditions, everything I explained from the beginning, where the gap did not get filled, where we're in a bullish side. I think we're on that side of the V, right? And we're starting to enter into this zone here where it's very limited liquidity. If you look here on this 30-minute chart, right, the first initial pop up, that just went straight up, solid rally. I would guess that there's not a ton of orders going through here. When you get a parabolic move like that, most of what happens here is very light liquidity. It just kind of runs right through it. You get consolidation, lots of orders above, grabbed all that liquidity over the top. Once you came back down through here, right, same deal. Limited liquidity up, limited liquidity down. So down in this area where we are now, between 68 and 178, even down, we'll call it 160. So from 160 to, let's give it to, if we really want to be round numbers, 100 to 160 is the area of where it'll probably cut through that without much issue. So once we get over 100 up into this area, there's not a ton of orders, especially this is a brand new front contract. So these orders, there's very limited over the course of the time period that we've had it. It's only been open for, it's only been the front contract for a week or so. So not even a week, but in terms of this. What's up, Jofi? So I would be cautious. If it does break up, you do have the ability to kind of run right through those orders again. If we start to kind of stair step our way up, it's cleaning up a lot of that mess that's happened there. I'm going to go ahead and show you it on the 30-minute over here so you can kind of see it as well. It's not as exaggerated looking, but you can see this parabolic move up, consolidation, liquidity sweep, parabolic move down. So not a ton of orders were executed. We'll call it from, like I said, that 100. I would call it even from down here all the way up into that 162, maybe if up even to that 196. So if you get acceptance between the 100, I would anticipate price to just continue bullish all the way up into that 196 because there's nothing in here saying, hey, there's resistance here. I mean, there was no orders really, I would guess, between this area. It was just ripping right through there on a 30-minute, on a 1 minute. It doesn't really matter what the chart looks like. So cautious if you are trying to be short. I'm not trying to be short. I'm just trying to be able to execute a good strategy. So we were able to get up there again, failed to get up over 100. So next breakdown of 68, I would like to sell a couple. I would take one off quick. That's just done the failure of that. NVIDIA is failing that breakout again as well. So I want to see if I can get that to be a confirmed breakdown below 68 with decent delta push. That would be nice. Delta is trying to hold up while price is pushing downside. So we have that opposite divergence. So aggressive buyers are not being able to hold up this market. So let's see if it cracks 68. I'm going to get short 3. I'm going to try and run one off here. And then I'm going to be quick to trail because I don't know if it's going to be a longer term short from this level. S&Ps showed the failure as well. You can see it right here. That 51 level failed. I want to be right kind of quick. So hopefully we are, because I'm risking a little bit more than I want to. There we go. I'm going to take that one off if it breaks through that low. Did not get through completely. Should get heavy quickly if it's going to. There's that first one is off. I'm going to secure this quick, fast move. This should rotate all the way down, to be honest with you. I want to get it down to VWAP, but I want to take off one more down here. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to let it go, baby. Let it go, baby. Look at that beautiful failure off the top. Just talking through that order there. Oh, man, we're going to get stopped on that. Gave back a little bit. All right, I'll take 816 on that trade. A little golf clap for that short play. As I was mentioning, I just wanted to take it to VWAP. I don't trust this as a full longer term move. I just wanted to be able to catch what I could on it. I really think that this is the opening range here. This purple box could act as good support. I could have held and probably been up over here, just over the top of this candle, and let that, set that next contract, that take profit here at 31, and been able to get that off. So I think if you're still short, you might be okay, but be quick with your trail, because I did say that 48 was going to be a key level for some liquidity, right? The volume node is here, that 48 level. That's why I was interested out. You take your money and run. It could just continue to roll over, right? You can see it's getting heavy now. Delta's starting to get heavy. I think VWAP is a realistic target, right? That's our strategy. Failed breakouts at key levels, pull back to VWAP. Just a nice... It's all right if it keeps going. It could just completely reverse from here. Like I said, there's some high volume nodes here. 48 down to 30. The way this failed does tell me that it is a rollover. I mean, there is a good, confluence to this starting to come all the way down. Yes, I gave back some as well, but I can't be mad at that, executing that trade like that, right? You take your quick money, run, and now we'll just wait and be patient to see if another thing sets up. Don't be caring about what you left on the table, because it really doesn't matter, right? Just execute to your plan, execute to your exits. The only thing I wanted to do was take one off at 48 instead of one off down here as well, and that was it. Get ready to leave Atlanta, baby. Well, did you just make some money? Lock it up, dude. Lock it up. So there's the opening range high. About to get tagged. Really nice short there from the top. This is what I'm looking for every time. If you could find this pattern at a key level with your delta divergence, with kind of what I was explaining, right? So, the way we talked about everything and getting everything to be in timing wise, it's all about timing. All about timing. Attaboy, Jofi. Love it. So these two, I got two in a copier. You make 816 before 9 o'clock. You make $1,500 before 9 o'clock, Jofi. You go home, you go to bed, right? Because you're in Dubai and you're good. Absolutely crushed it. Call it a day. This was the best setup. This is the best setup that I was possibly going to get on the day, right? Exactly what I want to do every single time. Wait for the level to break. Try and get longs trapped. If it's on the short side, try and get short trapped. And then let it fail that level. Get some confluence with the S&Ps, because the S&Ps is going to tell you something as well, right? and also get confluence with NVIDIA. This is the NVIDIA futures, basically, right? I saw this pre-market level break, fail. Tried to break out again, failed again, right here at 8:48. What time did I enter? 8:48. 8:49. I entered at 8:49, right? So I got the NVIDIA confirmation first, failed this. I got my S&P confirmation. I trusted that this should not have pulled back again. If it did, it was probably going to run up and stop us out anyway, right? So timing. It's all about timing. And there's right to the opening range high. So as I said, this could be just a quick pullback before this market runs itself all the way back up to highs, right? It's not this wasn't looking for a full reversal, for a full rotation. This is not one of those days where I'm going to be like, yes, we're going to fail the overnight high and rotate to the overnight low, because we're not. We're accepting into outside of yesterday's range. We're still outside of yesterday's range to the high side. And a lot of times, I was watching a YouTube or an Instagram or something with Edgeful on Austin Silver's channel, and the Edgeful app that they have allows you the opportunity to run data on certain scenarios and then percentages of the time how much it happens. So they ran the data of like when the previous day high breaks, how many times percentage wise does the day close higher than the previous day high, and it's like something like 70 something percent, 80 something percent. So this action here doesn't tell me that we're going to rotate and fail the overnight high and fail the overnight low. Could it happen? Yes. It's not, it's that 20% of the time that it could not happen. However, what I'm looking for in my trading strategy is exactly what I just did. If I get any more out of it, I could have obviously scored the entire move right to the overnight high. There was no real pullbacks at all. This is a 1 minute candle, 1 minute. So the only thing I did was I trailed down to this and got stopped out right above here before it made that nice final little flush. That's fine with me. I mean, my targets were really 48 at the end of the day, so can't be mad at that. Entry price 64, exit price 55. That was the first one. The second one was 49. I got out of 49. So just over this, right? 48 was my target for that second contract off, which I should have just put the second contract, take profit there, and then let that last one run. That's the only thing I would have liked to have done differently. Otherwise, we are good on that trade there. So we are good with this combine. These two combines, like I said, we're just shy of 2,000 in these. Evan, good job. I don't know what trade you did. Short, I'm guessing, because that was the only move there, unless you went long off the jump. I do think that longs still could play and still could pay, especially around here. We're getting a very similar type setup here around that 48 level where I said there was a high volume node. S&Ps did break and hold below the VWAP here, but I don't trust this VWAP. It's not correct, so it did not. Hell yeah, break even. I'll take it. New short. Okay. I'm going to be patient. I think that the longs come in here. See what happens at that 100 level again. Sometimes that happens. I did that the other day, or actually I did it last night. So if you noticed, when I started this stream, I was up $24. I was just kind of checking the charts, looking at stuff on the overnight session before putting my son to bed. My son too. And I decided to just click through, and all of a sudden on the mobile app, I dropped an order for 2 contracts instead of none. And I let it play for a second, well, for a little bit longer than a second than I should have. And I just hammered out for a break even $24 trade. Sometimes you just got to, fat finger mistakes happen. Just don't let them affect your accounts. It's a shame, Jofi, that you get stopped out for 20 points and it keeps going from 50 to 60. Yes, it is a shame. The only thing you can do is kind of like review. That's what a trading journal will help, or if you record your screen or whatever, right? Like sometimes like yesterday I posted my little trade review on what I executed on that trade on the 100K count last night. And it's really more for me to go back and say, okay, how could I have managed that a little bit better? I kept talking about that 81.25 level being very important. Down here, that 81.25 kept being important. 81.25, 81.25. I could have easily just taken off that last contract, trailed it up there, and secured another, $400 or $500. But I wanted to let the trade play out a little bit more and do what it wanted to do. Today, I said, with this move, I wanted to be quick with it. I understood that if it came back above 68, it was going to be a problem. Ray did a great job shorting it from 80, which is great. Seeing it being a failure before it was a failure. I did anticipate that this short was going to come in. If you're going to be aggressive on it, good on you. I like that idea. And like I said, this is probably a liquidity grab, still holding over the opening range high, still breaking out. The 30-minute candle is about to close. It is going to close potentially below. It closed below the 68 level. So that was that 30-minute candle closing. Trading Economics comes out. United States, what do we have here? Pending home sales down negative 2.3. They were anticipating 2.3%. So that was not so bullish. Think that's okay for the day. We're going to go ahead and lock out for these two accounts. So these two accounts, this leader here is up 51,993. This one's 51,968. Obviously, the copier is not perfect. It's not exact, but it's very, very close. So we can realistically pass these accounts tomorrow, and then we'll have another 100K in funding over these two, and then we're looking to pass this 100K here, which we are up just shy of $2,000 on this one. So we're going to start trading this one today. Jofi crushing it. Loving it. All right, so now this new 30-minute candle, now trying to accept over 68, pushing up into those levels. If we could accept over 86.50, I would anticipate this 100 level to kind of give up, crack. This is another... Look at how this price action is acting. There's some sort of wild algorithm going on right now. It's not as smooth on X right now. You see how reactive that 68 level is, right? Every time it comes into here, we're getting price action to try to speed up. There's decisions to be made. I'm up 816. Can't be mad at that. I didn't record my screen. I only have my stream going, so I have to figure out a way to find. Usually it'll record and do the stream. Obviously, I can go on YouTube and pull it, but I did that yesterday and it made a blurry video, and I don't want to post shitty videos for people because I don't watch them. So why would anybody else watch them? You can see Delta starting to creep up. Aggressive buyer. What in the world is going on here? I am not short anything. What the fuck? What the fuck's going on here? That's weird. How do you close this? I have no idea what's going on here. Apparently there's an order sitting here on this I don't know how that happened. But we're going to get out of that. If we can for break even, that'd be great. If it squeezes up that level, then we're going to be happy. This is a micro on a personal account, so we'll have a stop loss, and then if we can get that to break even, then we're going to take that off. It'll be great if it just works. Magic 68 breaking. Fat finger. I don't earn that money. I do not want anything on this account, so it did not mean. I don't know how that order was out there. It just magically got filled. You were watching me. I don't know how that happened. So we're gonna go ahead and be okay with that. I'm sure the short will work now because I flattened a random trade, but that's just trying to teach you the ways of not doing that. If you don't do something on purpose, don't do it, especially in trading. It's not worth it. You're not going to get a good result from it long term. We're looking at this currently failing that 68 level on the 30-minute. So it does look good again. Could look for a quick opportunity on this on the 100K, but I don't trust it quite yet. 60% long. I would like it to get back up again one more time. Try and break through that 80 level, fail the 80 level, and then have NVIDIA start to roll over, or even have S&Ps get up a little higher. Have the S&Ps hit that 51 level again. Delta, I got to get back to the full mini. Okay. Get my volume nodes back. I have no idea where that order. Sometimes orders just appear places. So I would always just recommend, if you are, especially in the funding companies, Top Step, Apex, whatever you're in, really, really, really be careful with just lingering orders that kind of just appear and just, make sure you're flat. Make sure before you close out your platform, hammer that flatten all button, hammer down on all those, get rid of all those orders, because you don't want something accidentally triggering you and then getting you bumped out of a funded account. Or, you might be way up in your combines and you're about to pass and you do some stupid order that just gets filled because it was a ghost order. Be careful. I've been hearing kind of some stories. Yeah, I hit exit and cancel like 50 times. Every time you'll see me, I'll be here and I'll hit this flatten all button just like randomly all the time. That's why I do the lockout button as well, because at least I can prove, and it's on stream, right? So my lockout button's on stream. Everything they can, like, if I come back tomorrow and it says you lost, $1,000, and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't lose anything. You can go back to your stream, screenshot, hey, I locked out. I manually locked out. There's no way that any order is filled, and then prove it. I don't think that that's an issue. I don't think that's happened with the lockout or anything like that with anybody. I have heard that Apex has been a little bit funky with some of their stuff where they're throwing change. That's why I switched to Top Step X. I think that they're more inclined to help you if you're using their platform, right? Also, Jofi, if you don't know, the Top Step X commissions, right, are pretty good. You're probably paying $5 or something. Yeah, you can't switch, but you can do a new combine. And whenever you do a new combine, try the Top Step X if you want. You can see that the round trip fee is or the executions here is $2.80 per contract. So I heard that Apex may have been throwing ghost orders out on people in accounts and filling them randomly without them actually even placing trades. I don't know how true it is. I just kind of watch the rumor mills. It does get annoying, Jofi. I mean, like I said, I don't recommend switching. I don't recommend platform to platform. I use Quant Tower for my personal brokerage. This is Quant Tower. I like this platform a lot. It forces me to not be able to trade on the road. It's a physical platform on my PC. It's something I need to be here for. This is a really, I liked that short idea there. But I'm not going to take it right now. I'm not going to chase it. If you are comfortable with a platform, if you just use the same thing over and over again, I didn't hate Tradovate. I know a lot of people do hate on it. It's not the best platform, right? But it is just, it's mobile. I mean, it's web-based. You do have a mobile app that's not so great, but it is good. It's there. There's some benefits to having Tradovate. If you're comfortable with a platform, there's no reason to switch until you find a reason to switch. I switched to Top Step X for the price of the combines because I was a early adapter. I did like the beta testing stuff. I got combines for $4. So you can't not do that, right? $50,000 accounts for $4, $450, right? So I have those, and then that kind of led me into just continuing. And then for streaming purposes, I really think the layout works well for the stream. It's you're able to kind of cleanly see everything that I'm doing, and then I was able to I leave my account information here just so it keeps the transparency. I blow it up so it's bigger so you guys can see it, better, but it's, it's there. You can see my profit, my running actual P&L, what account I'm trading. Like, I don't care what, I'm not trying to be lying to people. What am I doing? I'm not selling shit except for coffee. If you want coffee, make sure you stay caffeinated. Bullish on caffeination. Daytradingcoffeeco.com. Always got to drop the plug for the coffee. But other than that, it's full transparency. I don't care. Always got to plug it. Always got to plug the coffee. Honestly, I'm a coffee snob too. So with I wouldn't sell something I don't like. I'm that kind of person. Like, I'm a really shitty salesman. So that's why I'm like self-hating. I don't want to sell things. I was a mortgage broker and I did a terrible job because I told people that they couldn't afford mortgages instead of just selling them on mortgages. I have too much of a conscience. Like, if I don't think somebody should buy it, I won't tell you to buy it. But honestly, I do love my coffee. I would not sell something that I don't like. So that is my one thing. And I won't work with any sort of people who I don't believe is the same. Selling property over the phone, it's hard, man. It's hard to do that. Most people don't want to answer the phone anymore. That's one, which is difficult. And secondly, like, a lot of people just use the internet and it's difficult. So I think it's a tough job, and I give anybody who can do it mad props. The guy who I was learning from is great at what he does. It was not for me, unfortunately, because there is definitely profits to be made in that kind of environment. I just love trading, to be honest with you. This is just what I would love to do. Just sit here and analyze, talk to you guys, have a good time, sell some coffee. Unfortunately, today I got to go back to work. So today's my Monday. Instead of policing the ticks, I got to go police the peoples. So we are trying to push back up a little bit. NVIDIA's rotating. It had a little bit of a sweep of the low at 123, 124-ish, and now is rotating back up towards 125. Don't you love Top Step, Jofi? Don't you love Top Step? $200 days, that's all it takes. 5 $200 days, that's all it takes to get your payout. If you're up 3.8 on the account, leave yourself a little bit of a buffer. That's what I do. I take anything over the buffer, and then I just leave that 2K in there. That's okay. 2.8, 3.8, it's all good. So that's what I did. I did the same exact thing. I was up 2,800 the first time, took the 800 off the top, left the 2K buffer. And then every time you get up, maybe set a milestone. All right, I'm going to set the buffer to 3K. And then everything over 3K, I'm going to take out. And then if you feel like, all right, I had a nice week, had a nice month, I'm going to take a little bit, whatever that buffer you want it to be, wherever you feel comfortable, especially if you have more than one account, maybe start, pulling it. Yeah. If you want, Jovi, start setting that mental hard stop too. If you can set yourself to like a 500 to, obviously it's very difficult to stick to a $500 loss limit on full minis. If you switch to micros like you were doing, set a $500 a day max loss limit and just shut it off. If you can start getting yourself to the point, obviously we have a lockout button here on Top Step X. You're on Tradovate, you don't have the lockout button, but try and get that mental hard stop because that's huge in this. The days that you max loss should never happen. And they happen all the time because it's so easy to just be like, I can make it back. And then it just burns holes in your pocket and you're done, right? So the mental hard stop, if you can just figure out a way to get yourself to turn off Tradovate, it's so difficult because it's always there. You can always go click it. But if you can find a way, whatever you can do to set that if you hit $500 or if you hit 600, let's call it 600. Because if you give it a little wiggle room, right? Or set a mental stop at 5, but your full stop loss at 6, right? Because all right, I'm lingering in that 500, but I'm still in a trade. It gives me that little bit of an extra room. And then, if you blow past that 600, you're on tilt. Or if you blow past 5, you're starting to tilt off and starting to revenge, and you should just shut the computer off. That's why I love Top Step X. Another good reason. I'm not going to toot their horn. There are bugs to this. There's not like, it's not perfect, but a lot of times if orders go awry or something goes wrong, they make it right on their end. So it's kind of nice to come in here, even with the bugs. Orders are pretty much solid. It's more like the VWAP and little things here, indicator stuff that people are mad about, but I don't care. All I use is lines. So if you go into settings here, you could set your risk to reward. So this is my bracket. So if I set my max risk kind of position is 300, profit 1500, and then I could adjust it afterwards. You could set your personal daily loss limit right here, the PDLL. If you set it here to 500, 600, and you set it to liquidate and block, it'll automatically, as soon as you hit that 500, 600, it'll lock you out and you won't be able to trade anymore. And then the personal profit targets, you could do the same deal. Yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind. Everything is all learning. It's just a matter of, there we go. There's the long into the 100. I would assume that this is probably now going to push into that 60 level without much issue. Into here. Everything is a learning lesson. So the beautiful thing about trading is that you'll never really be done. You'll never stop learning. Everything teaches you a little bit something about yourself, right? You want to really learn, and I'm not going to be able to enter this, but it looks like a nice little long up into that 60 area. Into that circle probably happens. I'm going to leave it on here. You can see no matter how many times you come back to it, you want to trade it. I want to go to this account. I want to trade this account. It's going to show you, hey, man, you locked out. Go away. It basically should say, go away, go do something else because you can't trade this account anymore. Dismiss it. But I go back to here because I am on stream. I am showing people what I've executed, what my P&L is for the day, so I can continue to stay, transparent about what I've done. I don't want to just linger on the other account where it's zero. It's interesting. The S&P is failing that level, and Nvidia. You can look at Nvidia here. Nvidia right there, holding below that 125.34 level that I populated earlier today. I found that to be the breakout point, failure, breakout, failure. Now we're using it as a resistance again. Nvidia may stay range bound, which may create another type of range bound day here for us in the NQ. If I see 64% long, also another reason that this may fail. If I were a non-streamer or whatever, just trading, they would be done, right? You make that one good execution, really great read on the levels, on all of the confluences, adding up to an A+ type trade. Full strategy basically works, right? Fail level, right to VWAP, overnight high, acted as support. I would walk away and be done. Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it? But also at the same time, like I said, it's very hard to short this this area because of the lack of liquidity above. There's not a ton here. Like into where it is, yes, potentially. But also that's a good reason for a failure, right? Because there's not a lot of liquidity up here. It should have squeezed. It should have just went. So potentially, like you said, it could fail. So I don't trust it 100%, but I do like it as a failure with S&Ps failing it. Usually I like the S&Ps to help lead me a little bit, depending on which way. NVIDIA is failing that level as well, so there is a short idea to be played. I don't have it as an A+ for me, but I do like it, right? Delta is trying to get heavy. The point of control is here. So that is important as well. Stop at 105. All right, give me 1 minute. I'm going to check on something real quick. All right. Hey, nice short idea there, Jofi. You have this support here now as well. If we're going wicks, you're in here. If you're going bodies, you're right there. So if you would have, you could have. It's always good to kind of, sorry, email. I don't know what this means. Work emails. I like the idea for a long. Work emails. There's that. So if you would have had your stop, you're at 85 for your entry. Maybe looking at 65, 68. Could roll. Nvidia's still rolling down. Look at the wicks on the 30. You can see the 30-minute, right? So this 30-minute close below 68. If this current 30-minute bar closes below 68, I would consider that to be bearish. And we start to maybe rotate back down. The lack of acceptance up over and into a 100 does give me the idea that that may rotate back down into maybe that 982s, but 20,000 level, it's not a terrible target. Let's see if the 30-minute will close below 68, which will be right here. So right at this bar here, this line, that we'll see if we're closed above or below this white line. Wife had to take the kids to the doctor. Obviously, they were a little not happy about it, so I had to help out, bringing them over to getting them changed and everything. Later, Steingraber. Waiting patiently for this 9:30 candle to close. Do we have any numbers at 9:30? I think that's it for the numbers. Yeah, 9 o'clock was it. This is not great for the economy, right? Pending home sales down 2.1%, down 6.6 year over year. Tomorrow we got core PCE, personal spending. Chicago PMI will be interesting as well. Consumer sentiment I think is something important. So a decent day tomorrow. Could look to capitalize on some movement there. Today's line in the sand is going to be that 68. Got about 2 minutes ish left in this 30-minute bar. Still time for it to close below that 68. I think if this 30-minute closes above 68, then maybe we try and push and watch to see what happens at that 100 level, right? If we close above 100, then potentially look for that to push even further up. $9.27. This candle closed 9.28. See if we get any sort of 63% long. That also does not bode well for the longs, although 63% is not heavy tilted. S&P's is curling up. Russell's still holding the opening range high. I think that a crack of 68 back to VWAP could give you another good opportunity. Sitting up 816 on the day. Not a terrible day today. NVIDIA trying to continue to hold. If Nvidia catches a bid at all, then this market goes. Almost there. The 68 really wants to be the point where it's a decision to be made. I would like to switch to the 100K. If it fails this here, fails at 68 level, I'll look to maybe take a short again on this 100K account. Looks like it's going to hold. Looks like it wants to hold. All right, that 30-minute candle holds above, although we are very close to flushing it. See if it'll break it. All right, the fire drill is out at Top Step TV. So if you do want your fire drill, I'll send you a link. Here it is, Top Step TV fire drill. That's a free reset. Click the link in the chats for a free reset from Top Step. If you're in Top Step, it's a good, useful tool. No matter how many accounts you got, it's always good to just click it. Just get it. If you don't need it, that's good. If you do need it, use it. Save yourself some Skrilla. So it looks like this 100K count, I'm probably going to end up short here through the level. Short here through 68s. I have it below the wicks of these candles because I don't want to just get wicked in and out. So now we're short on this count. This 100K combine, I'm a little bit more risky, so I will let it play. I'll take that first contract off at 48.50 if it goes. And then see if I can let the rest of it maybe get one off at VWAP. There's the heaviness. Nvidia is still trying to be heavy, so that's good. S&P is still heavy, so that's good. Giving it a shot here. Shooting it shot. I don't want to risk over this candle here. That's a free reset. Free reset. I'm going to hammer out of this. I'm going to be a little risky on this bad boy. On the 100K. I'm going to bang out of this at 72s. You're welcome. Come on. If it was going to get heavy, it was probably going to do it already. So I'm going to hammer out at 72s. Come on. Let it go. Nvidia's trying to bounce. That's going to hold this up a little bit. Yeah, that should be. I'm managing this a little bit loose. A little loose on it because I do think it'll dance around here, but if it's going to sell, it should sell quickly, and it's not. And we're starting to get a bid in the S&Ps. So over 72, I'm out. I'm out on that. Oh, I'm out. I'm still in. So there we go. We're out. We're out on that. All right. Definitely don't want to try that there. There's a good break. That's 68. I'm gonna try one long on this. And then if we break through the high here, I'll buy 2. And I'll start to shed them at the highs. This is the 100K account. It does have a $2,000 drawdown. This is kind of me messing around. We are up 816 on the other accounts. I'm giving this a shot here. If we break this again, I'm going to go long there. Add 2 more there. Nope, I'm flattening it. I don't want to mess around with that. Back to this account. Try not to click buttons on those. We have another 30 minutes till the hourly close. So we are going to wait. I did like the short idea, kind of hammered out of it. Just a quick 2. If you request it tomorrow, you'll probably get it early next week sometime. It'll come out as soon as you request it. It processes it, and then it just it kind of adjusts your account the next trading session. I'll play this by over that. If it does go there, if it's going to continue to hold below 68, like I said, that's the line in the sand. Bearish, bullish. I was looking to short that. I was trying to get short 48. That would have been short 248, which was nice. I stopped myself out on it, chopped myself up a little on it for this 100K. But I do think if Nvidia starts to break out, we will start to squeeze up. If S&P can get above that 51, then the 68 probably rips. You can trade, just don't. I would just be mindful of what your limits are. You could just trade a yeah. What's the worst that happens? You know. I would say, yeah, if trade your combine, do what you got to do there. Um, you'll be fine. I'd take your money, enjoy a Friday. You don't have to trade if you don't want to. It's always nice.
Order filled.
God damn, that was a heavy sell.
Order
That
filled.
ad killed me there. Yeah, it happens. All right, that's this 100K account. We're gonna not trade that. Oh, we have $200 left on that buffer on there. Let it go. That 68 failure. Nvidia is failing. This is just dancing with the devil up here. So we have the I would have walked away after this trade is exactly playing out, right? This trade right here, we saw the short opportunity on the failed breakout, took that roll. This one, I was just playing with a level and obviously oversizing on a combine because I like to do that on a combine. But overall, the trade that I wanted to take today, this was it right here. One and done. Get it and move on. That 100K account, like I said, I over leverage it a touch and I try to pass it kind of quick. So if I do have some max drawdowns on some of the other combines, I just use those as the extra execution trades. But really, I would be done for the day, kind of just sitting on my hands, waiting to see what else happens, right? We're going to just chop around this level. This should be the breakout point, but also could be a selling area, right? I mentioned over here that 68. We wanted to hold above it. 30-minute candle close below, next 30-minute candle close above, and now we're kind of just lingering on top of that 68, kind of dancing around with it. The shorts are not convinced, neither are the longs, so we are kind of just lingering right here. I wouldn't hate to see a pullback again on the 30-minute just to see if that wouldn't eliminate the bullishness, right? I think technically that previous day high or the overnight high 27s. Where'd it go? I deleted my overnight high. No wonder it's hate when I do that. Sometimes my levels disappear on me. Previous day high was the blue line, 20,028 even. Don't like when that happens. Green. Previous day high. There we go. Much better. This is now choppy, sideways, summertime type trading. Like I mentioned yesterday, try and avoid this. Maybe wait for that pullback for that long again at the overnight high if you're looking for longs. Shorting that 100 level, the 68 level seems to be probably the point of control at this point, which it pretty much is 75, right? The point of control is right there. This 68 level will probably become it just based on the way this is just bouncing around right here. Value area, we're dead center of the value area. You're not really going to get a ton of really good moves from here. Oh, wrong count. We'll go here. Sorry, have the wrong screen up. Based on this, right, these levels here. I guess a dead center of the range basically here. Opening range is these blue and red lines. So we're away from the opening range. Russell's still over the highs. S&P is still up over those highs. We are starting to curl back down from there. Let's see if the support holds at that 48.50 level, right? The high volume nodes, you're starting to develop more volume in this area here. So orders do want to get executed up until this 48, right? Right there, bang, flushed it into it. So the short idea was right. I stopped myself out on the 100K way early. Could have just left it alone and been just fine. But my strategy, I want to be right quick. And that's kind of where I chop myself up sometimes. But the thesis is correct, right? So the short, Jofi was talking about from up here at 35s, right? 35s, we're talking about 85s. I'm sorry, 85s. Short from the 85 with a stop at 105. Still valid. If you're in that kind of longer term hold type idea. Just target a VWAP right there. Beautiful target, right? Another failed straight down to the VWAP. Fail at 68, straight down to the VWAP area, right? Within a couple points. Could flush it and move on. Right there. Let's watch this opening range high and the opening range low. See if any of this holds, right? Opening range. I'd say it probably does sweep through this overnight high. Then we watch for a failure, delta divergence, rotate back the other direction. All right, let me grab another cup of coffee. I'll be right back. We have about 15 more minutes before the hourly close. All right. Looking to maximize our funding, like I said. So we are up on this combine here. These two were up just shy of 2,000. So tomorrow, another trade like today, possibly could pass it, pass two more. That'll put us at another 100K in funding, plus the 100K that we just started yesterday. Looking to possibly get that done sometime next week. If I keep doing things like today, I'll have to use that free reset on it. But I was just a little aggressive and a little tight with this, right? Because this was the right move. I could have just left the stop there, risking just about the same amount that I ended up chopping up and been actually up and correct, right? So my theses are correct, just a little bit better on the executions. Will be better. So overnight high, let's see if it sweeps this overnight high, gives us a divergence on it. Really nice short from 68. When I gave up on shorting, that's when the short came in, right? On the 100K. But that was a really nice move there. Could come right back down into that support on that trend line. So watch the bottom end of that opening range. I don't believe it'll flush. Russell still open over the opening range high. S&P still over the opening range high. We're now accepting in the bottom end of it. I would like to see it get all the way down into the bottom, maybe wick it and then rotate, but could just do what it's doing right now and bounce. As I mentioned, many of the days, if it breaks the overnight previous day high, it likes to close above the previous day high. This was the trade here, and then Jofi's short from 85. Obviously, a clear, with that wick failure of 100 and then a rotate back down through the 85 level. Perfect little short. If you're able to hold that, right? If that's your strategy, if that's your plan, if you're thinking, all right, we failed. Well, based on what I was talking about, right, with the lack of liquidity overhead, without a follow through to squeeze up right through, kind of telling us that there's more sellers to be involved at that level, right? Because they just hammered it down right away. Are they bigger size players that are trying to rotate us down even further? Or are we just going to grab more liquidity down here at the opening range where there was a lot of buyers and then rotate ourselves right back up? Either way, it's a good short for what you want to get out of it, right? It is impossible. You likely wouldn't have, right? Realistically, in theory, you pulled back. You said you wanted to catch 20 points. You caught 20 points on it. You either took off here at this support at 68, or you maybe went to break even. I don't know if you trail from there, and you don't want to be up 20 points and then lose a full risk. So maybe you went to break even and you get stopped at even at 85. Or you're risk averse, you're letting it just run. You're saying, okay, this is the trade of the day. I'm going to let this thing sell and see how far I can let it sell. I know some people that trade like that, and it works out really well. They get stopped sometimes. They have wider stops. They take bigger, longer trades. This was a really nice move. I did anticipate this short, obviously, from here. That's where I started to try it. And like I said, I just moved my stop too much on those. And then the long, I was up a couple $100 and decided to go and get myself stopped out for a full loss on it because it was stupid. It was more of just like a flip-flop around an area. But this is really the clear short when you're up here in that area and thinking about it logically, talking through things. And like I said, I caught this move. I'm done. I locked myself out for this account. I switched over to the 100K account just to try some things. And, that's what happens when you just try some things. It doesn't really work, right? If you don't have nice little set plans for it. But it is good to know that it does work out if you give it a little bit of breathing room. Hindsight's always 2020 with trading. It's very easy to see, clear as day, when you are trading this. But I'd say that this is a nice support bounce kind of area. If you want to just try something again on the on the 100K account, you buy one here. You buy one there, and you just see what happens. This is just a trial on this. See if the previous day high breaks and holds on a retest of the overnight of the purple zone, which is the opening range, risking to the opening range high. I won't be able to because the max drawdown is a lot closer. So it's technically not being able to let this trade work perfectly because it's not in the right area. But if it's going to work, it's going to work quick. If not, it's going to fail. And then we'll be done with this 100K for the day. Nothing crazy, just back to even on it from yesterday. Yeah, so this is not going to work for this probably. But really, like I said, the trade of the day here was what we actually wanted to make as far as executions is concerned. Yeah, I like the bounce. I do think the bounce will work. I don't think I have enough drawdown on this 100K to let it work out the way I want it to let it work out. Yeah, I wanted to long off the overnight high. That would have been my long location. And then the stop below that wick at below 20,000. Yeah, so there's that max drawdown on this one. Not crazy, just a little bit below even from yesterday's. Express funded, 50K, leader. There we go. So this is our real trade for the day. The accounts that we're really focusing on without trying to just hammer in to see if we get lucky on something. Oh, moved my opening range. That's what happens when you just have an account to just click through to trade. You see if you get lucky on one of your combines. Yesterday we had really decisive plans for those other accounts, but this one, like I said, we waited for this beautiful setup, played our strategy pretty much perfectly, except for the fact that I really want to go back and when I review it, I want to see the price action in the video. I would have preferred to have set my stop to even after I took that first contract off and then set a second take profit here at 48 and then let that last contract run to VWAP because that would have been the nice little trade there. Unless I had it where I set the 2 to even after taking those off, set my take profit at VWAP, then seeing if it would run and trail that third contract. There's multiple ways to do it. Really would have ended up in the same result. I think you can't be mad at securing 816 on a single trade, right? Just obviously a little bit more of letting your trade work out clearly works there. Same with Jofi's trade, letting this thing play out here after you fail that level. The rotation down from 85. I do think that you could even have shorted 93, looking at this, we go up through the 100 level, you fail the 100 level and you close, you retest, right? And then you could set your sell order below this body and have never had any real risk on it. But 10 points, if anything, if you wanted to risk to the high, it's really not a crazy risk. And then you can let this thing work its way out. Then you would have maybe been safe at break even if you got filled around that low at 93. You would have got, if you were at even, you probably would have got ticked out. But even then, if you would have hold that and just had the balls to hold, that's what it's all about, right? Like I said, we are closer on these two. Not going to be reckless with them. That's why I locked them out. There's no reason to be trading on these accounts if there's no trades to be had. Obviously, this is a good trade. The short from 68. And I think the long off the overnight high, I think this does hold at least for the time being. I think NVIDIA is starting to curl up. If NVIDIA could accept back above 124.40, then we start to rotate this back up. It's going to be another type of rotational day. Where to have that? I posted it in the chat yesterday's day. Yesterday, right, it was very sideways, very choppy. This was yesterday's range. It stayed tight. We made good money on a couple good trades. And now this is the same. This is yesterday. Let's see. I'll go over to it on our TradingView chart. Here's yesterday's ranges, right? We were messing around with that 82 level quite a bit. We only streamed till 11. So really our entire range right there stayed between these two levels, 82 and 26. Played the long off 26. We played the shorts off 82. Today, we are accepting above this blue line, which is yesterday's high. And now we're trying to rotate back into these areas here. So if we do accept back into here, watch down into that 82 level if it does want to fail and push down even lower. Oop. It's good to watch, Jofi, right? It's good to watch. Good to see the levels. Good to see that you're recognizing price action. You don't have to click buttons. You don't have, I mean, unless you, if this is what you want to do, if you want to sit here all day and watch and click and watch and click and make, you know, if it's part of your strategy to execute more than a couple times a day, then do it. If it's going to make you profitable, if you're going to execute every single setup. Otherwise, you know, it's good to understand, confirm what you got going on, say, okay, good, my strategy works here, notate it, maybe write it down. You say, okay, at 920, you know, 917, I wanted to enter at 85, stop at 105, and then just notate, all right, I would have moved my stop here, would have stopped here, move my stop here, and then maybe just manage your trade virtually. If you have, you know, you can say, I want to try a long through here, short, you know, I want to get it through the highs and then just manage it via this little box, right? Okay, I think that this is going to be a long here. I think it's a good idea. I think NVIDIA is catching a bit. I think, you know, S&P is going to start to pop its way over. I'm kind of front running it a little bit. I'm only going to risk to the overnight highs and then just see, all right, you know, we'll manage this setup and then you can do your thing this way. This is just, all right, I'm planning it out. I'm seeing if this idea works or if it doesn't work, maybe just let it play, see if it'll, you know, realistically, this one should have never got stopped, right? This idea before. So let's see if it works. Would like to risk, really I would have liked to have entered on the overnight high, right? On this wick test here, if there was a divergence at all. It was just more of a flattened price action. You could see when you get big parabolic moves and then Delta starts to slow down, Delta slowing down, you're not getting followed through to the downside. And now price is starting to creep up. Delta's now starting to try and creep up. You're getting above VWAP. You're getting not a crazy pop in Delta, but it is starting to build. So that's something to just notate, right? That's how you know that price is maybe in a stagnation or at least slowing down from the move. And then you can make a decision. Is it going to continue or is it going to be the reversal point? Russell is curling down into the opening range and S&P is holding just above it. So those are things to note. NVIDIA is still trying to mess with that 124, 124.40, 124.50 level. So it's still not quite giving you any sort of bid. So kind of holding this here. This is obviously not a position I'm in. This is just an idea of just like how you could go ahead and say, oh, I would have done this. This is what I want to do. as far as position management is concerned. Just want to be able to say, okay, we held the opening range high. We held the opening range high again. Let's see if we could hold the opening range high here and start to rotate back up. If we can pull a rotation, will it be a full rotation? Will it be a rotation up to 68? Will we stop at 48 or 50? Or are we just going to fail this previous day high and reaccept into yesterday's range, breaking down below the opening range low? But I don't think that's more likely. I think the more likely trade is the one that we're just attempting to, test out here, right? And you want it to happen sort of quickly, but with the market conditions that we're in, how long will it take for this long to work out? Later, Joe V. I'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, whatever time that is in your world. I will be here. Looking to just kind of execute the same way we did this morning, wanting to see if we can get this 5:30 p.m. Dubai time, if anybody cares to worry. So now you see the breakdown in S&Ps, and now this it's holding the top end of the range. So we'll see if that helps. Let's see if that's going to be a sweep of this low here to rotate it back higher in the S&Ps. It looks like it was, right? It looks like it was going to try and trap some shorts, but if it could continue down, and if S&Ps continues down and breaks 40, then this likely cracks this overnight high, because we are reaccepting back into that kind of rising channel that we had before. So down into 982 could be a nice support area if this does break down, but this trade is still good. This idea. And there's your idea playing out, right? Still didn't get stopped on it. Still safe with that overnight high acting as support. But if overnight high cracks, who knows how far down it can go. As I mentioned, I think with this channel reaccepting back into this channel, clearly that 68 level, once it failed, it started to rotate us down. Now you're below the overnight high, the previous day high. You're trying to accept back into this channel here. Will it rotate back down to 82.50? Right? We're just using level to level type price action. Seems likely if that's how that's going to work out, right? We do have a lot of support here. We're not executing. This is just a way to test out your ideas, right? Okay, we had a pullback into this level. We swept it. Now we're looking to see if the longs work out from this previous day high. We are below VWAP. This wouldn't be an A+ setup, but this is a good way to test out an idea without actually executing, but then seeing if you would, be able to manage it correctly, right? We had our stop just below this overnight high, so we are still in this. Didn't quite get triggered out. I didn't move it at all. You could rewind. We're just kind of looking to see what happens in this environment. Is everything every day this week going to be a sideways chop? Obviously, if we are going to be in a range all morning, then the likely good idea for a trade would be a bounce off the opening range high, which is this level right here. We are at the opening range high again. So you're looking to see. And if we crack back above the previous day high, up here we did the same thing. We tried the short, and then eventually we didn't play with our stop correctly. We had our stops a little bit tight, and then we flipped and flipped. So realistically, if we left it alone, the trade works out perfectly and you're good to go. So this is the way to test that theory. Will your ideas play out Will they go? Will they not? And while you're locked out and you're not actually executing, when we have an hour left in the stream, this is a trade I have an idea that I want to take potentially for a rotational bounce play, something that's not in my playbook as an A plus because of maybe VWAP is too close, or I usually don't like to execute at VWAP to push away, although I know it happens quite a bit. I like to use VWAP as a target, but if you want to start using levels and when they're near VWAP, maybe we're going to test it out using this just little position idea here, right? Because if you do that, this is a 3-to-1 risk, I guess. 3 to risk. That's what it's saying. 3-to-1 risk to reward. It's looking for 60 something points. And then just manage this position as you see it, working. But it's kind of sitting in this area here, looking to go lower. S&P's is trying to go lower. So NQ is relatively strong in comparison to this S&P. So if S&P starts to catch a bid, if NVIDIA starts to catch a bid, then this idea could work out, which is still okay. It's still in that area where it's trying to go higher. Do I have FOMO on it? Not really. It could work. My thought process on this would be it kind of comes up into this level. If it gets over the 49.50 area, then it would probably squeeze up to 68. And then at that point, you start to look to shed, If you get up into that area, you would likely I would probably not want to be giving back much of that. After sitting in that for a little bit, you would like to see if it'll play out for you. However, sometimes it's good to kind of just catch that, make it break even, and move on. Six years in 1 week. Crazy. So this trade would be frustrating for me if I were actually taking it. I'm not taking it. This is, like I said, it's just an idea that I have, and I'm just letting it do its thing, seeing if the idea would play out if I let it just set it and forget it type of run. I do have patience, and maybe if I had a bigger account size and like a nice big buffer, and I just didn't care one way or the other with managing my risk and trying to take payouts and stuff with the props, this would be easier to just set and forget and walk away. Personally, I don't have the patience to sit in the chop like this too long. I would try my best. I don't want to sit in a loser. If it's doing this, but up when you're in the green, it's easier to kind of just stomach that chop. But while you're chopping around in red, holding below VWAP, this is something I probably would have cut, and then it probably runs. So that's usually, that's why we're trying this. We're trying to test it out, see if it'll go before 11, or if it's going to fail before 11. If it fails this overnight high, I would anticipate 82 coming in, or at least the bottom end of this range, right? So if the opening range high breaks, I would anticipate the low to come in because we basically just opened and just immediately shot up. This is turning into a little bear flag type thing, right? Leg down, bearish, accumulation. And then it looks like it wants to crack and then rotate down lower. But this idea here is more of today will be another inside rotational type day. Not inside yesterday's range, but sitting on top of yesterday's range and creating its own range just above, right? So let's see if it works. Very patient on this test trade. And like I said, it does seem like it wants to be more of like a consolidate. You got your leg up, leg down, and then you're consolidating here, looking to. But I really think the rotation probably comes in. I would think that you can see that was more of a liquidity grab. Maybe it wants to grab and run. You would kind of anticipate maybe a flush of this low and then the rally up. The way this is consolidating, if that's going to be the way it's going to try and go. Overnight high is still just we're in the profit on it, just slightly. In this chop. This is something I don't like to trade. Not a good location for me. It is around one of my levels, well, two of my levels. I don't like to trade away from VWAP a lot of times. Like using VWAP as an entry to trade up and out of it or down and out of it. I usually like to use it as a target. That's what we did over here, right? This was our target. And you can see clear as day, it pulls back right down into that target. Also, the overnight high helps. Also, the opening range high as well. So there's a lot of confluence here for that to be the ultimate target for this trade. Obviously, I got stopped out up here at 49, just wicked out. But the ultimate target was down there. So take profit 1 here, 2 here, 3 down there. Currently with this, it's difficult for me. Same thing here. With the idea that Jofi was talking about, shorting from the high on the failure of the break of 100, which was really a good trade. The rotation back down to VWAP. Opening range high, overnight high, previous day high. Lots of confluence to pull it back there. For where we are right now, all-time high levels, this area where we haven't been, new contract, new front month. It's difficult for me to say, okay, I want to buy away from VWAP. Or sell away from VWAP. This the reason that you just kind of testing a strategy here, testing to see will this trade work out, and then kind of notate it, either write it down, have an idea, maybe, okay, will this stop work here at the overnight high? Will this stop? It has worked so far here. It could have easily wicked the overnight high and ran our stops and kept going, but we had our stop in a good location, and it's still looking like it's grabbing liquidity, looking like it wants to run up. But like I said, it's just like 75 to 90. Yeah. Anywhere down in the bottom end of this purple range would make sense. I have this as just a pure bounce point from prior and holding the opening range high and not wanting to be accepting into yesterday's range. That's the reason that the long test trade here is from here. If it can hold and accept out of yesterday's range, really that's all I'm looking to do. And the confluence there at that level, like I said, that 30 level, that was your level yesterday, that 30 level that you were talking about to short. So if you can hold that level and fail it a few times and start to accumulate people trying to get short, trying to accept it back into yesterday's range. It's an area where buyers could step in, right? You had a decent size here at 31, 33. Delta is completely flat, and now it's starting to get a little heavy. Like, I think down into this range here does happen. A crack of 20, a flush of 20, and then a failure of 20 rotates you back up. 30, you shorted 32, targeting 988. Shorted 32, targeting 988. I like it. Yeah, I'm the same way with the bullish. I'm a perma bear based on the economy, based on the way things are, especially based on like macro. Like the macros are really telling you that this should not be up here. But like I said, the market remains irrational. I like that inner moon. Like I said, if you can accept below that opening, that yesterday's high down to lows, a stop run for me makes a lot of sense. Like, all of these ideas, inner moon and Leasy, kind of all play out together, right? You're looking to short down to 988. You're going long 988, 975 to 990, right? So that confluence is there. You both could take that trade, and you could both be correct, and you could both make money, right? You could have a long bias and a short bias. I just wanted to get that out there. I am not executing this. You can see my realized P&L is still sitting at 816. I have no unrealized. This is just an idea that I wanted to see how it plays out. So if you are watching and you just tuned in to see, oh man, this trade sucks or whatever, it's not really a trade. It's just an idea of testing out bounce play ideas, where stops should be, where maybe I could hold, maybe I can't hold. I even said, realistically, I would never hold this long. This is not my strategy at all. I don't like to trade at VWAP, around VWAP, all that stuff. I use VWAP as targets. I like to get extended and do mean reversion pullback stuff. So this is really just a test idea, which is going to fail probably right now if it's going to stop around the overnight high. At least, I would say. So inner moon is still in okay shape here, short from 32 at the very tippy top. Still safe. Looking to add more at 45 if you get up that high. I don't think if it gets up to 45, still safe on this trade. I could see why you would add at 45 and if your stop was tight above 50. I think if we do accept and hold above the previous day high and continue to rotate out, you stay within that 68. Maybe if you break 68, you start to squeeze up to 100, but it starts to rotate in that 80 to 20 range. So I would be careful adding above your entry. On the continuation to the low, maybe adding, the same. I would never hold this long. This is just purely a test idea. It should stop out here. Yeah, nope, and that's out. Okay, so that's how this trade would have worked. And then I'm going to leave it here just to see how deep it would have gotten, or how far it would go. Would I have been better off having it down below here, right? So I'm going to leave it now and see if this is an accurate spot. I think realistically a sweep, like I said, of 20,000 makes sense. A sweep of 20,000, and then your long idea makes a lot of sense from that area where you're looking to get long 75 to 90, right? In this range here, right? There's a support here, support there. We had that 82 level, right? 82.50, I think, would be that ideal bounce point, which disappeared also. I don't know why it's gone. So now reasonably, yeah, that's realistically stop should be below this wick here. I like I said, I wouldn't have been in this. I just kind of was throwing a random idea out there. There's multiple factors that keeps me out of this trade to begin with. I'm below VWAP, so I don't like to go long if the price is below VWAP. That's one. Two is I like to target VWAP from extensions, and all my previous day high and overnight high is on VWAP. I don't want to be playing around where everybody's playing. I want to be where the extensions are. I want to see price to be exhausted a bit. I want things to go and go. Hey, Coasty. Coast TT trades. So really that stop should have been below 20. If this trade were to be a real trade. This is all just theory and ideas and coming in here and seeing, hey, how does this work? If you just joined the stream, I'm not in this trade. This is just an idea that we had that we're just kind of messing around with, seeing if there's going to be a similar price action to yesterday where we were just getting rotations back and forth within the consolidation. If it's a sideways market, you buy the lows, you sell the highs. Opening range high here. This purple box is going to be my opening range. Previous day high. That's really kind of just testing. We already got technically stopped out on this. I'm just testing if the stop were to be below 20,000, if that was the correct move. But in reality, I never would have been in this trade that long. This is just not what I'm doing. So Coast, I don't have it set up. I'm still coding it. There's like all right. So Coast sent me a PM. And he was asking for this mean reversion strategy indicator thing that I have up here. You can see that I have, I'm going to get rid of these lines for now because I don't really necessarily care about these. This is just sort of an idea from before. These lines that I have drawn on the chart, they're automatically populating. I have the blue as the previous session high, orange is previous session low. That works perfectly, right? Those levels populate correctly and they do the right thing and they just stay on the chart. So whatever yesterday's previous session trading days high and low are, it'll populate from 1700 all the way to 1700, then start to repopulate again come the next day, right? So tomorrow, if this remains the high, the blue line will be up here, the orange line will be down here, so on and so forth, right? My issue that I'm having is the coding for my overnight levels, the red line and the green line. The green line is the low and the red line is the high, which I want to switch again, also the colors. But I wasn't really worried about the colors because I was kind of annoyed at the population, right? It gets to populating until midnight and then stops. So I have to adjust the code. For some reason, the way it works, it does not want to. So there's 8250. That was a nice break and flush at the 20,000 level. I'm going to get rid of this thing. 8250 just got tagged, by the way, right? And now we're breaking that. That's a good bounce point there. So Leezy looking to think about his long idea here. There's a good short there, Inner Moon. That was beautiful. I loved it. That was I mean, realistically, I thought this looks heavy to me. A nice move down, a bear flag, I guess you'd call it, a manipulation wick up over that previous day high, grabbing all the liquidity just above the previous day high, and now reaccepting back into it. 8250 is a great target. That's why I drew it up. Perfect take profit area right there. It would have been from 32 down to 82. That's a perfect move there. If it flushes 82, who knows how low it goes? Maybe down to 26 again. But I wouldn't bank on that being the total crazy full move down. So this is a really good spot to start to secure some profits or start to trail yourself out. This is why I trail more than I like to take profits out, because if I could trail it down here, now, okay, I've secured exactly what I want, and then anything else further past here, I can start to get more out of it, right? So just going back to the mean reversion strategy idea here I'm coding this out myself. So with the help of some AI help, because I don't understand why this is not populating these highs. I can run it to where it just continues to populate the highs and lows of the day, but that ruins some things here. It'll continue to pop. So my two things is it stops at midnight, or it stops and it continues through the whole trading session. So let's say that the red line would have populated all the way up till here, pre-market, and then it would continue to populate and be up here. So maybe I'll start to use that as my high of session, low of session. And then I'll just kind of adjust the strategy accordingly. But until then, Coast, I don't want to share an incomplete product. I will do it over the weekend. Because also it depends on the time frame that you have it as well. And then if you have signal labels and all these populated, it shows you levels that you could short and long from based on my delta divergences and all that stuff as well. Like I said, I don't want to give you guys an incomplete product. I want to make sure that I can hammer this out and get this thing going correctly. The shorts obviously work from the highs. Let's see what the strategy tester says today. 125,000 with a max drawdown of 138, but average $300 per trade. On the 30-minute chart, it works out really nicely. The last trade, it took way too many contracts. But when it only takes ones and twos, it does all right. So it's coded as a strategy and not as a indicator. I can code it as an indicator so it doesn't test out as a strategy for you guys. If you are interested, I appreciate everybody. If you are in YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe. It would help me out a little bit. It makes me be able to do this a little bit more. If you're in the Tradecaster, I would appreciate a solid star rating, I guess, whenever you exit. I don't know how the stars work because I've never done that. But I think it's when you close up. Give Daddy a 5-star rating. That's all I could ask for. I know there's a donate button there. I don't know what, if you want to donate, you could donate. If you made a lot of money and you feel like donating money, good on you. If not, no big deal. I don't ask for donations. I don't ask for anything like that. I am trying to do this more full time, so the more I can consistently be out here helping you guys, the better I could do. So like I said, the likes and the subscribes is free to click, and it'll help out the YouTube algorithm and also the TradeCaster. You know, the interactions is it's fantastic. I love the talking, having a good conversation with everybody. Like seeing everybody taking good trades. I like seeing Intermoon making some money. I like Leezy's idea of a long between these levels here, 75 and 90. So 75 to 90. If you get a failed breakdown of 82, you get this is a nice little tweezer kind of bottom here. You got a heavy delta. It started to slow down. Maybe if you get a rotation back up through 82 and a hold, you start to rotate back, that could give you the idea that you were having before for your long, right? If it's Intermoon's target, it could be your long, right? So it's all relative to what you're thinking, but it's very heavy right now, so it's hard to jump in front of this. I only trade NASDAQ. Sorry, I'm conversating in the sidelines there. Nope, yeah. Overall, like I said, with this, I'm gonna try to adjust some of these levels, get them to work better for you guys, better for myself. If I can have them execute properly, even if I get it to a point where I can have these lines populate and just have them as the current high and low, maybe that'll help. And then you can adjust your, your personal levels. So, all right before market open, bang, that's where the overnight high is, and right before market close, that's where the overnight low is. Just plot those out on your own, and then let the strategy kind of work itself out on its own. I wanted to code it to where it stopped and populated at that 8:30 Central Time, and it does it, and then it doesn't do it, and then so I'm having some coding bugs worked out. Once I work it out myself, I'll be able to kind of figure out and debug it, and then get the strategy to actually work. I try to have Delta on here, but I don't have a good Delta code either. I would like the code from here, Quant Tower. So if I can figure out Quant Tower's Delta code, it's not going to be a Pine code, so it's going to be difficult to just do. All right, so you're starting to get a little bit of a bid. I don't know, Leezy, you never know. See what happens at 20,000 is still that psychological level. I don't know if you want to wait for confirmation to be over 20,000, or you want to see if you get a failure of 82 again to rotate it back. We are below this, trend line crack as well, right? So that's another reason. You're in one at 72, stop at 59. All right. I like to see what you got going on. 72. I'm going to do it with you. 72. Stop at 59. Okay. A plus would be 42 to 48. Too short the 53 level. So you want to pop all the way up and then short down again, or you want to short 948? Oh, 948 down to take profit to 90. Take profits 90. All right. Let's see. Leezy in at 72, wants to get out at 90 with the stop below 59. Basically a little 1.5 to 1. How many contracts you got on one, Lees? You got one contract on. If your target's 90, if you break and hold over 82, do you think it could squeeze up to 20? Although there is a solid resistance there. That is the opening range low. I like the idea of the target. I think if you accept over 82, you could rotate up higher. So I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to play my idea, and you take it off at 90. Take it off at 90, get filled, and walk away. I think VWAP definitely that's where I'm looking for right here. So I would be at even, though, at 90. Since I hit your target, I'd bet even. And now let's see. I would actually probably even be below 82. Did you secure your 90? I want you to still take your profit at your spot. I mean, that was your plan. Execute to your plan and just continue to do it over and over and over and over and over again. That's all you got to do. Yeah. Take your money and run. I want to just see how this would play out if we trailed through these levels. So I would like to trail. You can't trail further. Oh, you can? No, that's the entry. You can't trail further than break even on this little test thing. I mean, that was a great target. You top ticked it. So you probably get stopped out there if I would have been that. So 72 to 82, 10 points. You caught 20 points. Perfect target there at 90. That's why you take the money and run. That's why this is just a test. Perfect and perfect exit for you. It's not lucky. It was planned and you did it the way you wanted to do it. Right? Don't mark it up as luck. I think what you had is your idea. You had the plan of being long through a certain level, which makes sense at 72 because you flushed, you kind of got into these levels, you got into the base of this consolidation, could have bounced from there, which it did. You planned that out. There's a reason why that 90 is a good target, right? It's the opening range low, that bottom of that purple zone. It's a good area. If 82 does break, it kind of squeezes up. Yeah, but you made your money and you got out. So that's what you have to do. You have to stick to your plan. Don't let somebody else influence your plans. Have your plan, trade your plan, execute according to it, right? And then go from there. I was very happy to execute this one and be done and leave and carry on. This short that Jofi would have took from the top, obviously, I don't think he would have held it this long, especially through this chop. This is very difficult to hold through. If that's what you're looking to do, I mentioned that I didn't think that today was going to try and accept into yesterday's range, but it did. Now that it has accepted into yesterday's range, will it test the lows of yesterday, or will it just remain here inside the chop where it was all day, right? Pretty much the majority of the day. Point of control, I would guess, is probably that either 982 or where we're at right now. So retesting the point of control from yesterday, now pushing down into the lows. So, do you get a bounce from here? Do you get a flush from here? Who knows? That's why trading is trading. You just have a plan, have an idea, execute according to probabilities, and then do it again and again and again and again. And don't just get in because you feel like getting in, like we did with the 100K. This was correct. The idea was right. We just overmanaged that with the 100K, just trying to do some things there. And then obviously I was doing those test orders and seeing what your trade would have done if you would have left it. You would have got stopped out if you didn't take your profit. So that was a perfect profit target to your risk, right? Your risk to reward there was perfect. 59. It was either who was going to hit first, 59 or 90. Obviously, 90 hit first. Then your 59 got tagged. Going to Friday with a little profit buffer. Come in tomorrow. We'll make some good executions. We'll look to see. Yep. Later, brother. I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta mañana. Looking to see if we can get NVIDIA to squeeze this. Here's NVIDIA. Watch for that pop. It hit the bottom of this pre-market low. If NVIDIA starts to get a bid, then watch the NQ possibly do the same. We got about 15 minutes left in the stream. I'm locked out of these 50Ks. We're up about 2,000 in these accounts. Should be able to pass them either tomorrow or the next day. Really not rushing them. Just looking to take one execution at a time. If we pass one, we pass two. So that'll put us up another $100,000 in funding. And that's all we can ask is just to maximize the funding. And then, like I said, I was using June as more of a fund maximization month. A reset for myself trading-wise. I had a few days that I took off. Had family in town. Lots of things to kind of just reset. I had some trainings. Next month, July, we're going to have a lot of trainings as well. We have the 4th of July. We have other things going on that are going to kind of run the month into kind of the doldrums of trading. I think July is probably the slowest of the months for my, historic trading. So just be mindful of that as well. Try not to overdo things. If you see money, take it, and then just go on and enjoy your summer days. That's what trading is all about, right? Just making the money while you can. Don't overdo it, and you'll be just fine. I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick, and then we'll be back for the final run of this stream. All right, back for the final run here. Alrighty.
Hi, traders.
Oh, you want to say hi to the traders?
Hi, traders. What is it?
What's up, everybody?
Hi, traders. Hi, traders. Hi, traders. If I put this in there, there will be
Next week
countdown.
there's a challenge
that you have to scream.
What? There's no
Gotcha.
challenges. You're silly. How's the doctor? You good?
Good.
You're growing?
No shots.
No shots. That's always fun. No shots for the boys.
Not me either.
Not you either.
Whoa! Look! We're in the picture.
You're in the video, yeah.
Woo. Hey, you want some milk?
You're in there. There you are. Right there. Move over a little bit. There you go.
You want some milky? They don't want milky.
They don't want milk. They just want to trade, dude.
I say trading money. No, I say, how do you kitty kids? Here you go.
You got the cameras over there, dude.
Camera? Oh. Yeah, who's talking?
TV.
Daddy, I just say.
All right, say goodbye, everybody. We're going to get off in a few minutes, all right?
Is that you
That's me.
in a different city?
That's New York.
That's when you met mommy?
Yeah.
And we're policemen.
Mm-hmm.
We're policemen too.
All right, say see you later.
See you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
We're policemen. I'm a policeman. Can I have a hug, Max? Oh.
All right. Get out of the room.
I want a hug.
Oh, okay. Give him a hug. Here, take your drink. I'll take a espresso. Yeah. Why not? And that's why we trade, everybody. It's a real stream live every day. Got the kids in and out. NVIDIA once again failed to pop above that level. It popped its head up and then failed it right away. So still has that downside pressure. NVIDIA yesterday got down into that 122, 123 even level. That was a support. So we will watch that 123 level again. I like this 982 level again. 1052. Get rid of that. You can see that clearly breaking that down there. This seems more like a time correction. So when I was trading with T3 and doing my stuff over there, Derek was the head trader in our group, and he was mentioning price does one of two things. It either time corrects or it price corrects. So these would be time corrections, right? You pull down, you price moves, and it time corrects. It goes sideways, sideways, sideways till the orders catch up. There's moving averages, whatever. Everything kind of just catches up. Once it catches up to the moving averages, VWAP, whatever it is, trend line, it'll time correct into it and then sell off and continue. Right now, what are we doing? We're time correcting sideways into another resistance here. Does it time correct and continue on? Or does it time correct and push up? And then we were using inside 5 bars, right? So if it was a 5 minute, you're looking for an inside 5, which would be a bar inside the previous bar, which would technically be this green one here. You could look to short the bottom of that, right? If you short the bottom of this, risking to the high end of that candle, anticipating that you would get that full move there, right? After the time correction. So you got the time correction, you got an inside 5. You first break down of the inside 5, you take it to the downside. Now it's the same thing here. We're in a downtrend. You're looking for an inside 5, which this technically, I guess, would be an inside 5. Did it break the low? The low of this one is 55. The low of this candle is 55. So it technically, I guess, would be an inside 5. You would look for something more like this, but inside. right? You would want it to be down, a little bit tighter, maybe one more 5-minute bar within that range, tighten up, and then look to break the direction that 5-minute bar would break down. So that's the kind of strategies we would go over. Time corrections within directional moves, stuff like that with equities. That was in the equities world. For me right now, I'm using more mean reversion strategies, more failed breakouts, failed breakdowns. This is a directional day. Seems directional to the downside. So, we pushed up immediately, sold off, failed to break out. Now sellers just have come in and just continued to step this downside from level to level, right? White line to white line to white line to white line. These white lines are just key longer term levels. I'll pull them off the chart when they're not important. But you have time corrected. If you got an inside one there, nope. Could squeeze this 82. Yeah, nothing doing for me the rest of the day. I am locked out. Like I said, we're locked out. Up 816. Over the last 2 days, we've done really well as far as executing to our plan. The 100K account, I decided to just go hammer in and try some stuff, a little bit oversized on these, and we drew down that 100K account. But that's just the way I roll on combines. These two I'm really focused on executing really strict according to the strategy, letting this thing get us back into a good rhythm. We took this one trade of the day here, and I'm going to go ahead and review it, and then we'll be done for the day, get off the stream. So we started the day off immediately. Overnight highs was basically right here, pre-market open. We broke through and busted out of that opening range immediately, just rallied straight to the upside, coming into levels that I drew up kind of while we were here. 68 level was a level that I had from prior that I just drew up for you. If you look over here on the overnight from not last night but the night before, we immediately came to a stop here at the 68 level, and again back here, and again back in these choppy areas, and that's pretty much all we have on that. Then I was talking about the 100 level. The 100 level was really because of this wick right here. This wick right here came up into the 100 level. Everything besides that just tells me that this is kind of an empty mess up above, right? So that's why I drew the 100 level for you. So we're here. This is the last little piece. So we came right up into 100. We wicked 100, came back down to 68, failed to break 68. I said, I don't trust this breakdown. There was a few reasons why. NVIDIA was not quite failing, and it was pushing through highs. S&P's wasn't quite at the high yet, right? S&P's got here, but didn't fail it, right? It was trying to push back up at the same time. So what time is this? Right here. You can see S&P's trying to push back above at the same time. This just was very strong for me to try and short the first attempt at it. So I said, we're going to wait for a retest. We're going to wait to see if price gets up into the 80s and 90s. And then we're going to look to see if we get a failure on the secondary break of 68. All right. So then I executed my short there. Took 3 contracts. Took the first one off at 57. So basically a 10-point winner there. And then I trailed out to the top end of this bar because we had a high volume node here at 48. I kind of expected this to be the draw. I wanted to maybe take one off here and then trail the rest to VWAP. We didn't have a chance to get to VWAP. I'm going to get that deeper. That's where it's at for real. I took the short right here. We ended up taking all of the contracts off right here at 49. So we took the short basically from here to there for 816. We took the first one off at the 59 level. So 1-to-1, 58. And then we took a 2-to-1 there. And then we were looking to kind of trail it all the way down to VWAP. But like I said, I got tagged out here and then it rotated down. It is what it is. I couldn't expect much more than that because I was looking to target VWAP. That's my normal target. It just usually has to do with how the price will trail. If I go candle to candle, I'm safe until down here. And then I can start to really push to look for trailing tight into my levels, previous day highs and whatnot. That was the trade of the day. We locked ourselves out pretty much right after that because, as I mentioned, I said I didn't really anticipate this rotating fully all the way down, but as you can see, we kind of pushed up over that 100 level and failed again. Had Jofi out here looking to short the 85 levels, so he shorted 85 just below this candle here. In theory, he didn't actually do it, but he called it out, and I thought that was a good idea with the stop over 105. Depending on how you manage it, could have took it off here and been, a 1-to-1, depending on how many contracts you had, and haven't been stopped out at even potentially. Or if you were risk averse and you leave your stop at that 105 level, you really have never been in trouble for the move the entire way down. So that was the real good, smart short opportunity right there on the failed break of 100, and then a rotation back down through lows. Right now we're sitting at that 82 level, looking to possibly break back above and hold. Nvidia has been sideways ever since. My stream is done. I have no more trades left to give today. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Otherwise, we'll be back on here again tomorrow morning, 8:30 Central Time, and we'll be ready to trade just like we did today. It is Friday. We are going to have a release pre-market of PCE, price index, personal income, spending, and then at 9, we have Michigan consumer sentiment. So some numbers tomorrow to be aware of. Be cautious. Be mindful of them. It is Friday. We're trying to keep our money on a Friday and move on. So until tomorrow, I will see you all bright and early, 8:30 Central Time. Peace out.